Hello and welcome to Digital Farm TV Rural News. I'm Andy Walker. A leading national organic dairy producer has hit out strongly at what he describes as Dairy Australia's plans to introduce genetically modified white clover into the food chain. Chair of Organic Dairy Farmers of Australia and Nuffield Australia, Terry Hare, said that one of the biggest threats to organic agriculture was the dairy industry peak body.
Probably one of the biggest threats to organic agriculture, organic dairy farming in Australia as we know it, is actually Dairy Australia itself, with their development of, with their program to develop white clover. There's several problems. One of them is that the perception of milk is of nature's purest food, nature's nectar, so to speak, and we shouldn't mess with that. The consumer expects milk to be produced in this country to be produced from grass, and that grass is produced with nature's resources. If we're going to introduce foreign substances into those grasses, if we're going to introduce a substance that confers the capacity within that plant, the capacity to repel other living things, to be detrimental to the life of other living insects, as the case might be, we're introducing that into the food chain. And certainly from just not the organic consumer's perspective, but all of those consumers who want to have confidence that milk is a pure and a natural food, don't want it to be messed with.
A researcher investigating the potential for increased salt tolerance in malting barley has received national recognition for his work. Dr. Xianghua Chen, a research lecturer at the University of Western Sydney, has been honoured in the 2013 Science and Innovation Awards for Young People in Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry. Grains Research and Development Corporation Chairman Keith Perrott congratulated Dr. Chen on winning both the GRDC and Ministers Awards, which he said were appropriate recognition for the doctor's efforts to address an important issue in the grains industry. Developing crop varieties that yielded well in saline soils was an enormous value, Keith Perrott said. Landcare Grants closing National Landcare Facilitator Brett De Hare is urging landcare and farming groups to get their applications in for the new community landcare grants worth between $5,000 and $50,000 before this week's March 20 cut-off date. Mr De Hare said that interest in the new small grants program called Community Landcare Grants had been high, with more than 3,000 online applications downloaded so far. He said the high level of interest was probably due to changes made in response to strong community feedback, increasing the upper threshold for the grants and allowing funding to be used for activities that built capacity. It was important that landcare and farming groups understood the flexibility provided under the new community landcare grants, and that now a wider range of projects could be considered. Western Australia's Cooperative Bulk Handling Limited is investing $6 to $7 million in a new marshalling area, weighbridges and sample decks at Geraldton Port, according to the Countryman newspaper. The marshalling site will be able to accommodate about 5,000 to 6,000 tonnes of parked trucks and 4 160-tonne weighbridges. They will replace 1 60-tonne and 3 100-tonne weighbridges that CBH currently leased from the Geraldton Port Authority. Meanwhile, in Strasbourg, Germany, small farmers have protested outside the European Parliament to call for a bigger share of EU agricultural funds. They staged the demonstrations as members of the European Parliament prepared to vote on reforming farming subsidies. French farmer Bernard Pignon said thousands of his colleagues in Germany and France were quitting the industry each year. The European Commission wants to cap funding for any individual farm at €300,000, but small farmers say that figure should be much lower. Green MP Nikos Chrysologis said subsidies should really get to small and medium farmers and not to mainly big industries and companies. Well, that's it for Digital Farm TV Rural News this week. I'm Andy Walker and I look forward to your company again next week.